This video is an extension to my Dishonored 2 review. It does not contain any spoilers, any story spoilers, but I do discuss the powers in some detail. I do compare them and discuss which powers are more or less powerful. So if you want to discover that sort of thing for yourself, I would not watch this video. Watch my first video. It was spoiler free. It should give you some idea of what the game is like. And the only thing I would say here before you leave is I would recommend, if you're going to buy the game after watching that review, that your first playthrough be with Emily. Just take that advice if you want. You can come back once you've finished and watch this video to find out why. Hi guys, this is going to be a bit of an updated review for Dishonored 2. I have played 2 quick NG Plus games and I now understand all of the powers a little better. I also understand how the game changes depending on the choices you make, the amount of people you kill, etc. On the last issue, let me just say the game really does react to the way you play. If you play peacefully, compassionately, and you generally try to avoid killing people, the game will generally feel a lot brighter, a lot more hopeful.
You're not fit for the watch uniform.
If you become Emily the Butcher and just kill everyone you meet, stories will start to be told, newspapers will start talking about your exploits, and people will become a little more, hopeless. They'll give up a little sooner and they'll turn on each other. Some incidents where you see neighbours helping each other, on the next playthrough where you're being horrible, the neighbours will actually turn on each other. Or you'll discover places that used to have, that in one playthrough had living people, suddenly it's got dead bodies, and the blood fly infestation will be far greater. It will also affect the lines that you hear from NPCs. They will say different things depending on what you have been doing. But it can change the world in even more ways. There is one mission. It's a mission I don't want to talk about because I don't want to spoil it for people. I'm sure people who've played it know what I'm talking about. But there is something you can do in that mission that will change the world very dramatically. You will notice it pretty quickly, and it is amazing. In fact, on the 2 playthroughs I did 2 different things to what I did in my first playthrough, and in each case things changed, things were very different, and I really did like that. I can tell you that NG Plus, the new game Plus, is probably going to be a lot easier than the normal game. You start off with a lot more powers because you keep all of your runes, and so you will quickly become pretty powerful if you want. I am standing by my critique of night vision. It is, in my opinion, pretty damned powerful to the point where it makes the stealth game trivial. I used this on my stealth playthrough to test it out, and honestly, you pretty much don't have to try hard to avoid detection. There's almost no way you're going to get discovered unless you do something monumentally stupid. And it does make the game a lot easier. It also makes finding loot ridiculously easy. You can see where everything of value is and just go straight to it and pick it up. And of course, because it changes the look of your vision, it really does make the game look a little less impressive in my opinion. So it becomes a little formulaic. Enter a place, see the guards, avoid their vision, pick up the loot, move on. And there's no real effort needed. So honestly, I have to say, on any playthrough you do, I just skip that power. Whether it be a violent playthrough or a stealthy playthrough, that just, to me, kind of removed a lot of the challenge. One enhancement that I would recommend on an NG Plus playthrough, or even your main playthrough to be honest, is in fact bone charm crafting. It's ridiculously powerful. If you max it out, you don't need the last one, the one that lets you craft runes, believe it or not. That's good if you're going to do an NG Plus playthrough, but for a normal playthrough, The main enhancement plus the 2 that reduce the chance of negative traits, and the 1 that allows you to have 4 of the same trait is, well, it's incredibly powerful. It can help you whether you're doing a stealth run by making your movement so much faster, but it can also make it so that you do a lot more damage on a damage playthrough. But by far the single most useful of the bone charms is the one that allows you to get not health but mana regeneration from drinking at a fountain. If you have 4 of these together, you regenerate mana so quickly that you're only by the sink for a few seconds, and this allows you to use your powers so much more. You don't have to worry about the elixirs, you don't really need to wait very often. You can use your powers far more. So even though it's a bit of an initial investment, it's probably worth it just for the freedom you get to use those powers. I can also tell you, I think Emily's powers are better balanced than Corvo's. Corvo's powers are overpowered to the point of, again, making the game pretty trivial if you use them well. For example, Possession. Possession trivializes stealth even more. Not only will you never get detected, you can actually stealth around a map really quickly by jumping from one person to bodies to rats, very quickly getting to where you need to be without any detections. It also allows you to take a lot of people out. If I compare this to something like Doppelganger, so not Doppelganger, Domino, that allows you to link people and take them out with a sleep dart, for example, this is just so much more versatile and so much quicker. The same is true of skills like Bend Time. Bend Time is ridiculously powerful. Again, it can help you in stealth circumstances. You can just bend time, run into a room, pick up all the items, run out, nobody will see you. You can, if you do get spotted for some reason, you hit bend time and you will be able to take the person out, carry the body to some hidden place and dump it. So you never need to kill anyone. If you're going to do a pacifist run through, bend time will trivialize it. You will never need to actually kill anyone. Now, Emily does have mesmerize, but it will only mesmerize 4 people. It takes a few seconds to kick in, whereas bend time it fires immediately and it will freeze everybody, absolutely everybody, including the Clockwork Soldiers. You can just run around, take them all out, reprogram the Clockwork Soldiers if you want, or simply ignore them. It's so much more powerful. Emily's doppelganger power is great. It's a lot of fun. You create a copy of yourself, or even 2 copies of yourself, and they will fight for you. But honestly, compared to the Devouring Swarm from Corvo, it just felt a lot more difficult to use. Devouring Swarm was a doddle. You just summon a swarm and it will kill things near you. In fact, I would say in some ways that's the second most powerful power in the game. I put that on the floor and pretty much I could almost stand there laughing as my rats killed people. The doppelganger seemed to require a little more effort to get it working properly. It didn't always attack when I wanted it to. It does have one cool feature though. You can swap places with the doppelganger if you upgrade it, and that is cool, I guess. But I never found a real use for it, whereas with the rat swarm, I mean, the rats will even devour the bodies for you, so there's no body left behind. It's just generally, I think this is more powerful. And then there is Wind Blast, Corvo's Wind Blast, the most powerful power in the game, in my opinion. It will blow your enemies around, it will knock down doors, it will destroy anything that's explosive, and if you upgrade it, it won't just knock people down and kill them if they hit a wall, it will blow them into pieces. You can hit 5 and 6 people in front of you and they will just be ripped apart. There'll be arms and legs and bits of body flying off into the distance. It just kills everyone. It feels almost unstoppable. On my run through where I just killed absolutely everyone, I stopped using it because it was actually completely boring. I mean, I say boring, it's fun, you feel ridiculously powerful, but there is no challenge. If you want to feel super powerful, take the skill that allows you to block and deflect objects. So if someone pulls out a gun, you just block with your sword and you'll deflect things, and even deflect them into their own friends and kill them. And take Wind Blast. You'll be wandering around feeling like a Jedi. You move forward with your sword in front of you, deflecting bullets, and then you get within range and you just hit them with the Wind Blast and throw them into oblivion. It's tons of fun, but it is no challenge whatsoever, I'm afraid. Now, of course, with a normal game, a lot of these powers won't be as powerful as they could be until you actually get to the end game and have got enough runes. But to be honest with you, if you pick the powers wisely for either a stealth playthrough or a loud action playthrough, if you're going Corvo, you're going to get overpowered far quicker than you would with Emily. Even towards the end with Emily's powers, I still felt I needed to play clever, I needed to play smart, where with Corvo's powers, I just didn't need to think about it. I could just walk amongst people like a god and obliterate everyone. So again, I think for a serious playthrough where you want a challenge, you should probably play Emily. If you're doing the stealth route, or you enjoy just looking around for loot and you don't want it handed to you on a silver platter, don't take Dark Vision. It really does remove any challenge from stealth or finding objects. Oh, you've probably already realised this, but in the NG Plus playthrough you can choose powers from both characters. This is Emily, but of course she has Corvo's powers as well. So if you play through normally with Emily and then you want to do an overpowered NG Plus playthrough with Corvo's powers, you can actually do that. That works just fine. And then of course that leaves you free to do a no power playthrough with Corvo. And honestly, because of the way the powers balance, that is probably what I would recommend. A full power playthrough with Emily with her normal powers. If you want an NG plus I'm a super god powerful playthrough, use Emily again and take Corvo's powers, or do the no power playthrough with Corvo, which is probably going to be a little different because he's a different character and tougher because of no powers, and then use that save to do the NG Plus with all of Corvo's powers. That's probably what I would recommend. I do say the NG Plus playthrough is fun. I would recommend it for a giggle, but you'll plow through it in no time at all. I did it in about 9 hours, and that was with collecting every single solitary rune, every single solitary bone charm, and doing every single side quest, and picking up every piece of loot, which is not that difficult with the Dark Vision. So 9 hours and you will do everything. That's like a complete run through, beginning to end, about 9 hours. So it doesn't take long and you will feel insanely powerful.